Hi, this is Shannon. This is Cycle 2, Week 24, Tutor and Memory Work Ideas. It's crazy that we are at the end of the year. I hope you've had a really great year and had fun tutoring if you're a tutor. I'm excited to share some fun ideas for this last week that you can use as a tutor in your homeschool group and at home as well. If you are new to my channel, I am a homeschooling mom of 3 little ones, 7, 5, and 3, and we do classical homeschooling and love it. This is our 4th year doing it. I've tutored every year and just love it. I tutor the obesitarians, so that's the little ones, the 4 through 5, sometimes 6-year-olds. So these ideas are with them in mind, but you can definitely use them with older kids or adjust them as you need to. So before we get into the tutor ideas, I want to share with you some fun things I have in my shop that you can use at home to just help your kids practice the memory work, some things you can use in your community as well. So the first thing I want to show you are these personalized timeline cards. These are super fun end of the year gift idea. So I used these last year with my group. I'm going to use them again this year. Just really fun and special little memento for them. So what I do is I put their picture on the front, their name, where they're from, their year, and then just a few things about their year, what made it special, some of the things they learned. So I make them look as much like timeline cards as possible. And then what I've done in the past is just hung them up on the wall on our last community day and just seeing how long it takes for the kids to realize, oh, that's us, that's not the normal timeline cards. And then they get theirs and get to take them home. So I have a Canva template you can get from my shop and make your own, or I also have an option to make them for you if you would prefer that. So I will link that below so you can check it out. Again, just a fun end of the year gift idea for your own kids or for the group that you've tutored this year. I also wanted to share this review activity book that reviews the second semester of Cycle 2. So I will use this with my kids this summer to just kind of keep our routine going in the morning and review what they've learned before we start a new cycle next year. So it has 50 different activities, covers all the subjects, just really fun activities where the kids dig deeper into the topics, connect the concepts together, and just gain a deeper understanding of them. So I have this in my shop. You can check it out. I'll show you a few of the pages. So this is a page about thermodynamics. They get to find different things in the kitchen and kind of understand what law of thermodynamics it represents. And then this is about just different ways light is observed, and they get to kind of decode the different things. And it also comes with these fun little circular images that are scattered throughout the book that you can either print on labels or cut out and the kids can put in the right spot. So again, covers all the subjects, 50 different activities, just a really fun way to review what your kids have learned this year in Cycle 2, the second half. I have one for the first half as well in my shop too. I also wanted to share a couple fun games that you can play with your kids at home as we get closer to the end of the year. This Historopoli game is like a Monopoly style game, but covers all the Cycle 2 history. So really fun. My girls love playing this at home. And then I also have my Candyland style memory work game. This is the spring themed one. I also have a Christmas themed one and a fall themed one. These work for any of the cycles. So just a really fun resource game to have at home to practice the memory work. It covers all the subjects. So the different color spots on the board represent the different subjects. So we played this a lot at home. Also, I haven't talked about this in a while, but my Cycle 2 Geography Passport, this one's pretty worn now because my daughter's been using it. It's a great way to review the geography that they've learned. So we've been going through it each week as my 7-year-old learns the different geography, but this has been something we've been going through to review it as well because she is going to try for subject master. So just a fun way to review the geography your kids have learned in Cycle 2. And then I'm also putting Cycle 3 stuff in my shop now. So I have this United States workbook that has a page for all the 50 states, including Washington, D.C. If you didn't know, we focus on the United States next year in Cycle 3. So here are a couple of the pages. This is Alabama. You can see I have all the state symbols on here that the kids can color and the flag and where the capital is, where the state is in the country, things like that. So there's a page like this for each state, similar to my Europe book if you use that this year. Just a fun way to dive deeper into the United States as the kids learn about each state in cycle 3. All right, the last thing, I have some president games in my shop. So we learn about the presidents the last week of cycle 2, but really anytime you want to learn about the presidents with your kids. But I have several fun games I made. Like this is a president war game that has different facts about each president. Great way for the kids to learn more about them. I have a president's bingo game, memory games. So check those out as we start learning about the presidents. They're really fun to play at home. So that's all I wanted to share for now, but there are more things in my shop. I am making a United States passport for cycle 3 too that may or may not be in there when you're watching this, but I will have more cycle 3 resources popping up in my shop as we get closer to cycle 3. So thanks for listening to that. Also stick around to the end of my video because I have some more fun free games and activities you can play with your kids this week to practice the specific memory work that they learned this week. So I will talk more about what those are and how to grab those from my resource library at the end of my video. For geography this week, we are learning about South Africa. So this is a fun review of cycle 1 from last year. And I just printed out these Africa maps from the Sandbox e-zine, but I will link it. And I just put it in a dry erase sleeve and outlined each country in a different color. I'm going to teach the kids a song to the tune Ram Sam Sam. It's very African-ish, and it goes like this. Southern Africa, Namibia, Mozambique, Botswana, South Africa, Lesotho. This is Southern Africa, Southern Africa, Namibia, Mozambique, Botswana, South Africa, Lesotho. This is Southern Africa. And I'm just going to give each of the kids a dry erase marker, and they're going to write the first letter that each country begins with near it or inside it. So Namibia, we'll write an N, Botswana, a B, Mozambique, an M, South Africa, an S, and then an L by Lesotho. And then I'll ask them, like, who remembers what country was the N? What does that stand for? Oh, Namibia. Who remembers what the M was? And that'll give us another chance to review those. So that is geography this week. For English this week, we are learning the definition of an interjection. And we're going to sing this song to the tune, Oh My Darling Clementine. So I'll sing it for you first, and then I'm going to give the kids each a silly voice card that we can sing it in different silly voices. So it goes like this. An interjection is a word or phrase used as a strong expression of feeling or emotion. An interjection is a word or phrase used as a strong expression of feeling or emotion. And then I will give each kid a fun, silly voice card, and we will just switch off singing that song in different silly voices. So like slow voice, robot voice, through your teeth voice. These are free on my blog to download. They're great, just fun resource to use. I've used them almost every week in one of the subjects with tutoring. So check them out. I'll link below where you can grab them if you haven't already. And that is English this week. For math this week, I have a fun little puzzle again. We're learning the identity law. And I'm going to first teach the kids a fun song to the tune Polly Wolly Doodle. And it goes like this. The identity law for addition states A plus 0 equals A. The identity law for multiplication states A times 1 equals A. And so we'll sing that several times. You can see the puzzle in my picture. You can print it off if you want to use it for free from my blog. I'll link below where you can grab it. And I will just have the kids put the puzzles together as they listen to that song several times. And that's math this week. For history this week, we are learning about the end of apartheid. And I am going to do the silly words game again. So I sing the history song normally to the kids, and then I'll throw some silly words in and tell them to raise their hand if they hear a silly word. So the normal song goes like this. In 1994, South African President de Klerk allowed free elections. Nelson Mandela became South Africa's first Black president, demonstrating that apartheid was ending. So I'll start out saying, in 1994, South American, American? No, what should it be? Oh, African. Okay, so then I go back to the beginning and sing it right until the next silly word. So, in 1994, South African president de clown. Clown? No, not the clown, de Klerk. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I go back to the beginning and sing it correctly until the next silly word. And the kids just love this. That's why I've done it a lot this year. They get really into it, and it actually allows them to hear the history sentence correctly a lot of times, which I love. So the silly words I used are American instead of African, clown instead of clerk, elephants instead of elections, noodle instead of Nelson, snack instead of black, and a party instead of apartheid. So that is history this week. For science this week, we are learning about what units are used to measure electricity. So I'm going to teach the kids a song to the tune This Little Light of Mine. And I'm also going to teach them some hand motions for ohms, volts, amps, and watts to help them remember. So ohms, we're going to hold one hand up like a stop sign. And then volts, we're going to push our hands forward. Amps, we're going to wave both hands forward like water flowing. So wave like this. And then watts, we're going to flex our muscles to show power. So the song goes like this. What units are used to measure electricity? Ohms measure resistance, volts measure voltage, amps measure currents, and watts measure power. Electricity. And then we'll just sing that song several times together, and that is science this week. For Latin this week, we are again learning about the first conjugation endings future perfect tense. And I'm using these again, but I'm going to use them in a little bit different way this week. I'm just going to spread them out on the floor. And first, we're going to sing our Latin song together. So it goes like this. Ero, eris, erit, eramis, eritis, erint. First conjugation, future perfect tense. And then I'm going to let the kids take turns tossing this beanbag, and they're going to try to toss it close to one of these cards. And whatever card they get closest to, we'll all say it together. And I'm just going to let each of the kids have a chance to throw the beanbag, and then we'll say the Latin card together that's the closest to their beanbag. I'll make sure all the kids have a turn. If you want to use these, I'll link these below. They're in my blog post. You can just print them off. And that is Latin this week. For timeline this week, we don't really have timeline because we're learning about the presidents. So I give each child a printout that I laminate of all the presidents. And I'll link this to my blog post so you can get it too if you want. You can see this one has stars on it because what I do is give them a sheet of star stickers, and we listen to the Classical Conversations President song, and I have them look for something specific in each of the presidents as we sing. So for example, the first time I might say, okay, look for any of the presidents that are smiling, and I want you to put a star on any that you see that are smiling as we listen through the president's song. And then the next time around, we'll listen again, and I'll say, okay, find any presidents that have a red tie and put a star on any of the presidents that have a red tie as we sing through them. You could also do glasses, mustache. So you're just having them listen through the song several times and look through the president's pictures and put stickers on the presidents that have these certain characteristics. So that's what we're going to do for timeline or presidents. Also, make sure to check out my shop. I have some fun presidents games like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Like this is President's War, which is super fun because it teaches the kids different fun facts about the presidents and they can kind of compare them. I also have President's Bingo, President's Memory, so just some fun extra games you can play with your kids at home to help them learn more about the presidents. For review for this last week, I'm not anticipating on having that much time because we have a lot going on, but I love the review game Stop, Drop, Act Like a Rock. And so what I do is I tell the kids to jump around, shake around, and when I say stop, stop, and then drop, drop down, and then act like a rock, huddle close to the ground and act like you're a rock, be really still. And then I walk around and tap on one of the person's backs, tap on one of the rocks. And then whoever I tap on, then I say, okay, rocks, wake up. And I say, who did I tap on? And they raise their hand. And then I ask them a review question. And then since the kids are little, if they don't know, I let other people help them. And then we do it again. We stop, drop, act like a rock. It's kind of like heads up, 7 up, but the kids love it. And you can do it for as long or as short as you want. So just a fun, really easy, no prep review game. That's what I'm going to do for review this week. All right, like I promised, I want to show you the free games you can use at home with your kids to practice the memory work this week. So the first one is this fun What's the Scoop order of operations activity that tells the kids to color each of the ice cream scoops according to what property is shown. So it includes all the properties from weeks 21 through 24. So I also have it color coded, so there's a key to it too. But there's several different forms, so your kid can do it more than once. It just helps them practice recognizing the different mathematical properties. And then I have my Latin bingo game that I've shown before. This has all 24 weeks of Latin on it with different images that help the kids know how to pronounce the Latin endings. There's 6 different bingo boards, so just a really fun way to review the Latin they've learned this year. I also wanted to share that I made some fun orchestra games that are free that you can use with your kids at home. So some of them are this build your own orchestra board game where I have little instruments you can cut out and the kids get to build their own orchestra depending on what it says, which is super fun. I have an instrument sequence game too. So check those out. Those are in my resource library. I will link them below. They're free. And since we focus on orchestra the last 6 weeks in fine arts, that would be a fun way to just continue learning about that at home with your kids. So you can grab these games for free from my resource library below. I will link in the description how you can grab them. Thanks so much for watching. I hope these ideas have helped you. Let me know if you have any questions. If you are enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I post a video per week with tutor ideas and other homeschooling help and encouragement. And check out my Instagram. I like to post what I do with my kids throughout the week homeschooling wise, and sometimes some spontaneous homeschooling things I end up making, and also recipes. And check out my blog where I have my resource library with tons of free stuff, and my shop, which I talked about a few things in there earlier in this video, including the President's Game, timeline cards, the review activity book, things like that. So let me know again if you have any questions or comments, and thanks again for watching. Have a great day.